Hey everyone, what if I told you that Oscar Piastri's time at McLaren might already be running out? Behind the calm face and sharp driving, there's tension boiling over. Team orders, cold radio messages, and pit stop blunders that don't feel like accidents. And now, his manager Mark Webber has stepped in with words so sharp they sound like a warning siren. In Formula One, when trust breaks, careers shift in an instant. Today, we're diving into what Piastri and Webber just told McLaren, and why it could change everything for Oscar's future. McLaren's strategy, and this entire championship. Mark Webber doesn't speak often, but when he does, every word lands like a hammer. This week, he dropped a line that sent shockwaves through the paddock. You have to be solid on all circuits. Simple, direct, and then came the knockout. He highlighted a stat few were watching. Kilometers led this season, and pointed out that Oscar Piastri is far ahead. No excuses, no softening, just cold, undeniable facts. And with that, it felt as though a quiet war for the soul of McLaren had officially begun. Let's take it back to Zandvoort. That weekend was Oscar's coronation. He grabbed pole position, controlled the race with icy precision, led every single lap, and sealed the win. His teammate, Lando Norris, didn't even finish, his engine giving out in disaster. For Lando, it was heartbreak. For Oscar, it was validation. That day, the world saw what Webber had long believed. Oscar wasn't just another rookie with potential. He was championship material. Calm, relentless, precise. A driver who thrived under pressure. And more than that, he wasn't just winning races. He was leading the title fight by 34 points. Yet even that margin didn't tell the full story. To Webber, the real proof lay in Oscar's consistency. His ability to control from the front, lap after lap, without mistakes. But then came Monza, and the cracks in the McLaren armor began to show. A messy pit stop shuffled Lando behind Oscar. It wasn't down to talent, just the random chaos of racing. But instead of letting things play out naturally, McLaren made the call that set the paddock ablaze. Let Lando through. Now pause for a second. This wasn't lap 3. This wasn't an experimental strategy shuffle. This was 4 races from the end of a championship battle. One driver at the top of the standings, the other trailing and making errors. And still, Oscar was told to move over. His reply was calm, but the edge in his voice cut through like a blade. We said a slow pit stop is part of racing. I don't really get what's changed here, but if you want me to do it, I'll do it. No yelling, no drama, but the message was unmistakable. Oscar knew he was being treated unfairly, and in that single radio message, the trust between driver and team may have begun to unravel. No sarcasm, no yelling, but everyone heard it. Oscar knew he was being treated unfairly, and that calmness wasn't submission. It was controlled fury. The fans picked up on it immediately. The clip went viral. Social media buzzed with anger, disbelief, and support for the young Australian. Because that wasn't just a driver following orders. That was a driver swallowing betrayal. And here's where the contrast becomes crystal clear. Oscar Piastri is composed, lethal in his calmness. Lando Norris, on the other hand, has been emotional, frustrated, quick to crack under pressure. After Zandvoort, when asked about his own mistakes, Lando snapped, saying he'd forgotten about it and didn't want questions about his mentality. He admitted Oscar makes him look more emotional, which only makes McLaren's strategy harder to explain. Why protect the inconsistent driver while undermining the one actually leading the title race? The answer may not be about speed at all. It may be about preference, about favoritism. McLaren, knowingly or not, seems to be repeating an old Formula One mistake, backing the bigger brand instead of the better driver. And nobody knows that pain better than Mark Webber. Back in his Red Bull days, Webber lived it. He was fast, reliable, and yet constantly treated like the #2 driver behind Sebastian Vettel. After winning at Silverstone in 2010, Webber's sarcastic radio jab, "Not bad for a #2 driver," wasn't just a quip. It was the cry of a man watching his own team pick sides. And now, 15 years later, history is echoing. Only this time, it's not Webber in the car, it's Oscar. And Webber isn't the victim. He's the strategist, the shield, the voice already dropping hints to the media, already planting the seeds that McLaren may be sabotaging their own star. Think back to Monza. 4 laps from the end. Oscar is ahead. Lando is behind because of a botched pit stop. Nothing to do with skill. No damage, just bad luck. Oscar should have been free to take maximum points. Instead, the team ordered him aside, and he obeyed. But his clenched jaw, his stone face afterward, that wasn't the look of a man accepting team strategy. That was a man swallowing the realization that his team may not be on his side. Webber saw it. He recognized the patterns instantly. The subtle favoritism, the early warning signs. He knows how this story plays out if nothing changes. And he's determined not to let Oscar suffer the same fate he did. That's why he chose that stat. Kilometers led. It's not flashy. It's not a number most fans pay attention to. But it's devastating in context. It proves that Oscar hasn't just been lucky. He's been controlling races from the front, delivering under pressure, setting the pace again and again. And yet, McLaren still seems to tilt toward Norris. Why? Because Lando is the veteran, the fan favorite, the British golden boy, 7 years in Papaya, adored by media, sponsors, and fans alike. To McLaren, he's the safer commercial bet. But here's the truth. Oscar is the better bet for titles. Which brings us to the crossroads. Because Webber has made it clear, Oscar won't be dudded. That's the word he used. Not overlooked, not ignored, dudded. And if McLaren keeps asking him to play second fiddle, Webber won't just sit quietly. He'll act. Now imagine the possibilities. Red Bull, if Max Verstappen ever decides he's had enough. Mercedes, with Hamilton's seat bound to be empty sooner rather than later. Ferrari, with Fred Vasseur always on the lookout for the next big star. Every top team would take Oscar in a heartbeat. Why wouldn't they? He's young, consistent, calm under pressure, and already proving he can lead a championship. Some say he could be the next great Australian in Formula One, even greater than Daniel Ricciardo, maybe even surpassing legends like Alan Jones or Jack Brabham. A world title for Oscar would make him the first non-European champion since 1997. That's history. And history doesn't wait for politics or team orders. It belongs to those willing to seize it. So here's the question. Will McLaren realize what they have before it's too late? Because right now, they stand on the edge of a choice. Double down on protecting Norris, or unleash the driver who's already proven he can deliver under the toughest conditions. If they get it wrong, don't be surprised if Oscar walks. Don't be surprised if Webber picks up the phone. Don't be surprised if by 2026, the man in Papaya is wearing red, silver, or dark blue instead. At the highest level of Formula One, respect isn't requested. It isn't negotiated. It's earned, or it's taken somewhere else. And the quiet ones, the ones who hold their tongue while making their point on the track, they never stay quiet forever. So I'll leave you with this. Has McLaren already chosen the wrong driver? Could Oscar Piastri walk before his true potential shines? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because this story is only just beginning. Thanks for watching.